Morning, Steve.
Morning.
You said after the Reading game that it had been a tough week results-wise. What's the mood been like here the last few days?
Well, when you get a couple of bad results, the one thing about the mood is going to be one of disappointment, as you'd expect. You have to expect that it's going to be not the way it should be. So the big thing is, though, we've got another game tomorrow. So the doom and gloom is up for me and my staff to now rally around the players and lift them out of the doom and gloom and get started again. We've only been in 3 games, and we must remember that. We've been in 3 games, hasn't gone as well as anybody would like. However, what we're going to do about it? We've got another 43 to play, 10 months ahead, so let's forget about what's just happened in the week and try and be positive and get a result of the weekend.
Have you seen a determination in them this week?
Well, I've just seen a few of them there for breakfast this morning, and rightly so. There should be a determination, because, you know, if they weren't any illusion of what it's like to be in a big club, and when we're signing them all in the summer, I think the big thing was that the big club scenario, and with that because an expectation, and unfortunately we've had a bad start, so we need to put it right. It's quite simple.
I think Newcastle lost the first 2 games last season and went up. Is it important to reiterate the fact that it's only 3 games?
Only 3 games in. It's only 3 games in, correct. And you know, I didn't think we deserved to get beat at Reading. We had an awful second half at Cardiff, I'll grant that, and we could have quite easily beaten Hull. So we could have been quite easy sitting here with a win, a draw and a defeat. Hasn't worked that way. However, as I said, it's been 3 games, and all the nonsense, I mean nonsense, is ridiculous really, after 3 games. So we have to just put that right by getting a couple of results, and hopefully we'll have a better week than we've just had.
You've missed chances, and a lot of early chances in games. How do you take that goal scoring in training and put it into games? Because I'm sure they probably score a lot of goals in training.
Great question, and one we've been levelled at. If I showed you training this morning, they'll whistle in. It's easy on a training ground, you know, and the hardest part of football is when it matters is scoring a goal. That's why strikers cost the most money. That's why we invest in them heavily, because they have a knack usually of doing it. And our Achilles heel since I've been here, not just strikers, is our ability to score a goal. We've created enough chances in all the games really to win a match, and we can't score. So that's the huge disappointment for myself, is that with the chances we've created, our conversion rate is poor, and that has to improve. And of course, at this particular moment, we're without the main guy who scored the most goals for us. So we have to keep trying, keep persevering, keep practicing, and hopefully when we get the chances on Saturday that we take them, because they are big defining moments in games, and unfortunately we haven't been able to take as many chances as we'd like.
Transfer window's still open. You've been linked with a few players this week. Is anything close on the transfer
There's 1 or 2
front?
things bubbling away, but there's still 10 days, wherever it is, to go. We still like to do something, especially in the attacking half of the pitch now, because obviously without Kodja, and you know, we've just seen how skinny we are when Hogan goes off the other night. So we're trying to do that sort of area, and we'll see what develops over the next 10 days.
Have you got an update on Scott?
Well, thankfully it's not as bad as what it was. He had an injection into his ankle on Wednesday morning. That seems to have settled it down a bit. It's happened 2 or 3 times now where he jars it, and so we'll see how he is this morning. I haven't ruled him out totally for tomorrow, but we'll see how he is.
Any news on Millet or Elmo?
Elmo wants to play. Typical Elmo, of why I've bought him. He had 33 stitches in his lip on last Saturday. So when you hear these things that they don't care and all this nonsense, you know, there's not many people who would put themselves up. Elmo, typical of him, wants to be involved. Jedinak has trained all week, and by the signs of he wants to be involved too. So they'll be good additions to us straight away, which was good to see.
Norwich next up. What do you make of them as a team?
Well, we had them watched. I've just watched bits of it this morning of their midweek win. It's fair to say that they're a club in transition. New manager, new coach, new players. different sort of style, but they're a good team. They were in the Premier League 18 months, so they've still got a sprinkling of some very, very good players. So when you see the Championship this year, you know, you look at the teams who you come to play against. Norwich are a very decent football team, so we'll have to be at our best to beat them.
What would a win do for the group and the club as a whole?
Well, it changes everything, of course. It changes everything, because we've just seen what a bad week brings. So a win, and then we've got another game on Tuesday and hopefully Friday, hopefully within the next couple of weeks, then we'll have that sparkle back, which only a couple of results will do that.
And very finally from me, what will your message be to the fans ahead of the game?
Well, since I've been here, or really for the last 5-6 years since the club's been in the turmoil it seems to have been in, the one thing that's been steadfast is the support. And that goes for any club, you know, the support through thick and thin. And to be fair, they've had some thin times over the last few years. So I'm expecting, like they'll always be, is to get behind the team. And we have to remember one thing too. We have to give them something to shout about. We have to see that the team play with a spirit and a passion that they're all about. They're desperate for the club to do well again. So we'll try our utmost to make sure we can get a result and for them something to shout about.
Thanks, Steve.
Steve, you talked about the fact that we are just 3 games into the Championship season and how the players are feeling, but how about yourself? Are you surprised that this early on we're already seeing talk of pressure on your job?
I think it comes with the territory of Aston Villa, because that's where it's been for the last 5-6 years. A few bad results off of the manager's head and out you go, and the whole turnaround scenario goes again. It is quite ridiculous after a week. I shouldn't have to judge myself after a week, after being in it for so long, but I suppose nowadays it comes with the territory. What you've got to be is bigger than it, ride the storm, and as we always do when we're up against it, every manager wants a good start. You know, all of us dread a bad start. But when it doesn't happen, you batten down the hatches, stay to what you believe in, and hope that you can turn it around quickly. And that's basically all we can do.
Have you had conversations with the owners? Do you feel that you've still got time on your side? You've got their patience?
Yeah, I've had time. Look, we're only 3 games in. I shouldn't have to ask this question. So I don't really ask the question. That's a question what you've got to put to them, you know. But look, I think they understand that the club's been in turmoil for years, and they've picked myself to try and sort it out, give it a bit of stability, and turn the whole thing round. I believe we're close to doing that, but results have gone against us. We're 3 games, and the euphoria and the nonsense that's written is quite embarrassing, really. But I suppose now it's the industry we're in. You know, it becomes a week off with his head, he's no good. And then the whole turmoil starts again with a club like ours. So that I can't stop. All I can do is laugh at it and get on with the job that I've got. And let me tell you, it's a difficult job I've got. So I was under no illusion when I walked through the door. And I didn't think the pressure, if that's the right word, would have come upon you so quick. But that's the way it is for being this club.
You are experienced, but you're human as well. Does it affect you?
I've been in it too long. Listen, it's never very nice, but I don't let it affect me, because if it affects me, then it affects the team, it affects me coaches, it affects everybody around me. So you have to accept it, take it on the chin. There's nothing you can do about it, apart from win on Saturday to shut the nonsense up, basically. And there has been a lot of nonsense, but you remember them. You remember them, and you think, well, I'll remember what you said a few weeks ago, and hopefully put it down their throats.
With that in mind, is Saturday's game crucial? Is it
crucial? It's a game what we need to win, but is it crucial? I wouldn't have thought so. But we need to win it. Let's hope it's the start of a winner. We've got another 3 games in a week, and then we've got an international break. It's been a tough start, and that's all it is. So I wouldn't know if it's crucial or not, but it's important, that's for sure.
How happy are you with the squad you've got now? Will we definitely see additions?
Well, all summer it's been difficult to bring in additions. So we won't be spending millions, as I've said repeatedly now. That's not been the answer for year after year. So I'm very pleased with the squad we've assembled. We've got 3 or 4 injured, 2 in particular, Codger and Jedinak, who are important to the team, especially Codger. You know, we've been creating enough chances and unfortunately not being able to take them. And of course, our top goal scorer is sitting in the stands at the minute. So we hope in the next few weeks that we get him back. If there is something that can help us at the top end of the pitch, then we'll try and do it.
You've been linked with Sam Gallagher. Is there truth in that? Is that something?
Well, I think every club in the Championship's been linked with Sam, because we do believe that he is now available from Southampton. It is something we're looking at, along with, I think, maybe 11 other clubs. So it's something that interests us, yes.
Is there any truth in Jack Walsh? Are you interested?
I don't know where that one came from, but if he wants to come and play here, he's more than welcome. But I don't know where that come from.
So you haven't sort of made
No,
contact on
no.
The last name, Jack Colback, is another name you're strongly linked with.
I don't know where that come from. I had Jack as a boy, but there's no truth in that either.
Okay. You talked about the pressure on you and the expectations.
I didn't talk about the pressure on me. You did.
Sorry, I did. Yeah.
Yes.
But I suppose that comes with the expectations
Yep.
on the players. With a name like John Terry here as well, do you think that adds to it? We've seen stories about him, you know, which I know you've dismissed, having his recovery.
Well, I asked the story about it the other day and dismissed it, and they still wrote it. So what's the point of answering the question? Look, I brought John Terry here for what he is, and all this nonsense, you know, there's a story goes about John Terry and everybody clicks the page and prints it. Look, at the end of the day, I brought him here to handle the pressure of the so-called pressure, because that's what he's been all his life. So as far as I'm concerned, the story's nonsense. And I'd said that to the guy who asked me at the time, but he still writ it. So there you go.
Norwich, what are you expecting?
A tough game, a really tough game. They're a good side, a very good side. I've just watched them on the video against QPR in the week, so it'll be a tough game. Thank you.
Steve, have the last 10 months in the Villa hot seat been even hotter than you anticipated when you took the job?
No, I expected it. I expected it. That's what it is. In a big club with big expectation, this is what happens very, very quickly. You know, and we've had a bad week. 10 months we've had a bad week. Of course, we've had bad weeks in the past, but, you know, it's been a bad week. Let's look forward to this week and turn it around. That's all my thoughts are on.
If you don't get off to a flyer against Norwich tomorrow and the fans turn just a little bit, do the players feel that frustration coming off the sides of the ground? Of
course they feel that, but look, when I'm bringing the players in here, they all want to play here because of big crowd, big support, big club. With that becomes an expectation, and you have to handle the expectation of what the club brings. And of course, some are still getting used to it. Some are finding it difficult. They've only been here, 10, 11 of them only been here 6 months. So some are finding it difficult of handling the pressure that becomes upon them. But look, the supporters are quite remarkable. They turn up in their thousands through thick and thin, and there's been a lot of thins in the last few months. We've got to try our utmost to try and turn it round. A result turns things around very, very quickly. Let's hope Saturday's our day.
First impressions of the Championship this season, is it going to be just as competitive, if not more so than it ever has been?
In my impression with it, it is always competitive. And when you look at it, there's some big teams in it, big clubs, who are all trying like ourselves to get out of it. You know, so the competition is fierce. And when we've seen the vast sums of money that some clubs are spending too, it's quite remarkable that the Championship has gone down that route as well. So it's bigger and better than it's ever been, and tougher. You know, it's a tough, tough league, as we've just witnessed. We've had a tough week. So we have to turn it round. But the one thing about the Championship, they come round so quickly, the games. We've got another 2 games coming up in the space of 5-6 days. So let's hope by the time I see you again, we've got a couple of wins under our belt, and there's not this doom and gloom which has engulfed us so very, very quickly.
Are you still enjoying the challenge of the job?
Yeah. Look, I was under no illusion. It's a great job. And because of getting a great job and a big job, you become under this expectation. So when things aren't go so bad, then you take a beating. I didn't think it would be as fierce and as ridiculous as it is after a week, but I suppose that's what football is now. But as for still enjoying it, absolutely. And determined, given time, that I'll pull it round.